محمد. ثانيا على محبة الحسن والحسين. ثالثا على محبة الصديقة الكبرى فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بأعلى أصواتكم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله. صلى الله عليك وعلى آلك المظلومين المقهورين سيما من كان للرسول ولدا، سيما من كان للرسول ولدا المذبوح من القفايا مولانا ومولى الكونين أبا عبد الله الحسين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تعالى في محكم كتابه الكريم: أفلم يسيروا في الأرض فتكون لهم قلوب يعقلون بها أو آذان يسمعون بها فإنها لا تعمى الأبصار ولكن تعمى القلوب التي في الصدور. صدق الله العلي العظيم. لتعجيل فرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. My honorable elders, respected brothers, sisters in faith and humanity, I begin to you by extending my deepest condolences on this tragic occasion and event, the martyrdom of Abdullah al-Radhi', the infant of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn salamullahi alayh. For his remembrance, let's have a minute of silence, a minute to reflect upon this young infant, the soul of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn. Let's take a minute, close your eyes. All the youth, close your eyes, my brothers, and try to remember that scene. Picture Abdullah al-Radhi' in that condition. The past couple days, specifically from our fourth to our eighth lecture, we've been discussing topics that deal with connection, with bonding, with inclination, with the formation of a personality that is resilient. We've been discussing how to become successful. We discussed that from a psychological point of view, from a religious point of view, and we discussed both platforms and what both doctrines discuss about this topic. Today I want to touch upon, because today is the last day, and I want to touch upon a topic that is very significant. And today's topic is, because we discussed how a personality is formed and what does it mean to have a personality, a strong one and a weak one. Today's topic is going to be, our personalities, our characters, are they affected by the external environment? So school, friends, community centers, institutes, social media, or are they affected by the internal environment, which is basically the environment in one's house, one's home, basically parents, family, prayer, faith, values, ethic, the domestic system within one's house. Which one has a greater impact on one's personality? Now, this is our first topic. This is the foundation of today's lecture. Now, we are living in a society where there is more than one mechanism and there's more than one system that operates simultaneously. So it's not like there's one system. Yes, we have the constitution, we have the law that we abide, all of us, under, which governs our behaviors. But keep in mind, and I want you to pay attention to this, keep in mind that the constitution, the law we operate on, it governs our behavior. It does not govern our values. It does not govern our mentalities. A lot of us abide under the law because they have to abide under the law, not because they believe in it. This is the difference. So, take a minute between you and yourself and observe the different systems that govern you. So me as a human, let me take myself as an example. There is more than one system that governs me. I have a different system at school that governs me. At school, there's a certain system and a lifestyle that governs me and puts me in a way in which it frames my movements and my behaviors so that I act in a certain way. Now, this is at school. When I go home, I find there's another system that I must operate on. I must adapt to. And that system is different than the system at school. So I operate on the system. When I go to meet my friends, a group of 4 or 5, there's a different system and an environment that I operate on. So we as humans, every single one of us, there is more than one system that governs our behaviors, and which ultimately contributes in the formation of the ultimate, this combination of values and morals and ethics, which form the ultimate mentality of an individual. That's why if you take a person who lives, for example, near a desert and examine his lifestyle, and you take a person who lives in an area where he's surrounded by vegetation, and you observe his personality, he's a different person. He operates on a different basis. Why? Because the surroundings are different. The system he is operating upon and the system he is abiding according to is different. Now, that being said, this is the foundation of the answer. The answer to the question is that I stated that which environment has a greater effect on oneself. The answer is it's subjective. Depending on the systems that govern your life, the external environment could have the upper hand or the internal. I'll give you an example. And I want you to stay with me, guys, and not because sometimes, according to science, they say that adults stay about 1 minute connected with you, their thoughts, and then after that they branch off to another totally different thought. So I want you guys to stay as much as you can and focus on this topic. So now, we said that depending on oneself, this is subjective, depending on oneself, he could be governed by the external or internal environment. There isn't like a solid universal law that states, oh, you know what, the external environment has a greater impact. No. I'll give you an example of a person who the external values have greater impact on him. A person who is connected to his friends more than his parents. This is a person that is affected by the external environment. He sees something from the external lifestyle that he is more connected to. A person who loves to go to school for the sake of enjoying gym, playing basketball, and hanging out with his friends, with his teacher, stuff like that. Going to trips. This is a person who the external environment has a greater impact on him. What is a person, or what lifestyle depicts a person who is affected by the internal environment? A person who is affected by the internal environment, on the contrary, is a person who finds joy in the system that he is governed by at home. A lot of people, especially youth, they don't like their home environment. And we talked, I believe it was yesterday, of how the bonding between a father and a son, and how that goes. A lot of youth don't like the environment of their house. Doesn't like, or she doesn't like how her mother or her father treats her. Same thing. He doesn't like how his father and mother treats him. So he relies, and the external system has a greater impact on him. Now, one might say, Brother Ali, why are you introducing this topic today? What is the philosophy? What's the purpose behind it? Whether you're affected by an external or an internal environment. What does that mean? No. This topic is very crucial, because the external environment has the potential to build you, because we said that the external and the internal, they're two different systems. Two different systems mean they both have different foundations, both have different norms, values, essences, morals, teachings, visions. That being said, if I were to bring a person and put him over here, and bring another one and put him on that system, they will both develop differently on different systems. And as a result, you develop as a different human being. Now, again, why this topic? Okay, I'm trying to place emphasis, and I think some of you have noticed, on the idea that we as humans must differentiate between the systems that are governing us. I cannot let any system govern me. I'm a human. I have an intellect. I have an intellect that can differentiate between what's this and what's that. I cannot go to school, and because my friend serves me a hot dog and my parents are not seeing me, that doesn't mean, nor does that give me the consent to eat. When I'm at school and my parents don't see me, it doesn't give me the consent to make unethical, unlawful relationships. Doesn't mean that, no. Don't let any system govern you. Now, I want to branch off to something else now. I want to branch off to the idea that there are systems enforced upon you, and there are systems you create. For example, I'll give you a quick example right now. Systems that are enforced upon you. Sometimes your parents, both your mother and your father, because they have been raised in a certain way and they have a certain vision, what happens is that that vision is reflected right on you. Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. And this happens a lot. Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. This is a system that is enforced upon you. Now, systems that you create, it's basically you play with conditions. Like, for example, I bring this phone, I buy a laptop, I buy an iPad, I buy an Xbox, and they're all precious to me, and then I start using them. I start becoming more open to technology. Over time, what happens is that I've created a system that governs my life in which I have to rely on these. I have to rely on my phone, my Xbox, my computer, my iPad, so on and so forth. This is a system that I create for myself. And I am sure that each and every one of you right now can reflect and can think and can identify a system that they have created for themselves. And by the word system is a linked series, could be, this is one definition I found. Linked series of opinions and ideas. It's not just like one thing that controls you. It's a series of linked doctrines, ideologies, and ideas. Now I identified that it is subjective, the idea of being affected by the external or internal environment. Now I went to the idea that there are systems enforced and that there are systems you create. Now I want to go to the systems enforced upon you. Systems you create, we have indirectly, without using the word system, we touched upon this topic a couple of days ago with connection and bonding and personalities. You know, with connection we said try to balance your connection with your surroundings. Don't be overtaken. With personalities we said be strong, don't be affected. Be resilient. We touched upon this. I want to touch upon the systems that are enforced upon you and how to deal with them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most precious creation He has ever made is intellect. Al-aql. How did we know God? Let's be honest. How do we know God? Through our intellect. Through intellect we knew God. That being said, I'm trying to give an example of how important intellect is. So when you come to a system that is enforced upon you, I go to school, for example. Alaykum salam. I remember one day in grade 2, when I was in grade 2, and I cannot forget this. I used to live in Hamilton. I was born there. Grade 2, I was raised by my parents. I live in a devout Muslim family. I was raised, and we know we Muslims don't eat pork. So one day at school, there was this party, I think, or maybe it was a birthday party. I don't precisely remember, but it was some sort of a party. The teachers back then, they tried to force me. See, this is a system. This is a system at school, because school is a great system. It's a developed system. They tried to force me to eat pork. I said, I don't want to eat. And back then, I was in grade 2. I didn't have strong language. I expressed in some way, I declined. I was like, no, I'm not going to eat. I declined to, they tried to force me until I cried. I cried because I saw that they're going to force me. And, to a grade 2 years old, to a 10 years old, a grade 2 individual, a teacher is scary. It's something very big, a principal. When you say, oh, I'm going to call the principal, it's like calling the police. It's something very scary. So they tried to force me until they called my father. They were like, we are trying to give him meat. My father was like, don't give him anything. This guy, we give him food, do not give him any food. I remember back then, I still remember that, I was very strong when they tried to enforce me, or enforce this certain party upon me and make me eat pork. I was very strong. I didn't let it go through me. Why? Because I used my intellect, even though I was young, because I understand that I have a certain lifestyle. I have a certain way. I have a certain system at home. And if I were to put the system or enforce the system that I operate on at school, on the system that I operate on home, they're not compatible. They're not compatible. So I will not violate the system that I've been raised with at home for the sake of the system at school. And we need this right now in these societies. Doesn't mean because you're at school it's okay to rap and to enter a music class. Another example I remember in grade 5 in Windsor, my music teacher, and I still remember his name, Mr. Brown, he tried to force me to play and use the instrument, the trombone maybe it was called, or the trumpet. And then I talked to him. I was like, I cannot get near that due to cultural, religious reasons. He did not accept. I got so angry to an extent where I held the trombone and I smacked it on the floor. I broke it. And then I had to pay for it. We need this in our societies. We need to be resilient and to submit to the system we really believe in. A lot of us play this game, this cards of illusion. And this could take us to, and this could create a personality that is based upon, or a person that is a hypocrite. He says something, he believes in something, but he acts upon something else. Don't do that. Be who you are. Let the world accept you. I know, because I'm speaking to the youth, I know they go through a lot of struggles at school. And that is one of the things that led me to leave a high school and go and take online schooling, finish my high school through an online institution. Because so many struggles face you at school. And some of these struggles take you out of your norm and values and ethics. Anyway, that's not my topic. My topic is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَلَمْ يَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ فَتَكُونَ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ يَعْقِلُونَ بِهَا. Now, I want to ask a question right now, and I want you to point towards the place I want you to point to. A lot of you, where do you think your intellect is? When you hear the word intellect, where is it? Intellect means mind, mindset. Where is your mind? Over here? Okay. Now this place, this is where your brain is. Until now, it is proposed, or it is thought to, people think, because intellect, it's something, it's not touchable. It's not something physical. It's like gravity. It has an effect, but you cannot touch it. So until now, it is believed by a lot of people, so many, that the intellect is in our brain. Over here. It's not. The Quran says, أَفَلَنْ يَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ فَتَكُونَ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ يَعْقِلُونَ بِهَا. So our intellect is in our hearts. العقل هو في القلب. It's not in your brain. I try to look at this topic from the scientific perspective. I found a psychologist and an anthropologist that said we have came to a conclusion that the intellect and the mindset, which is the source of thinking and reflecting and taking decision and learning, is actually not in your brain, it is in your heart. Your heart takes your decisions. Now, what is the connection? The connection is that there's an interconnection between the system you operate on and your heart. We said that your heart contains your intellect. According to science, even though it's not this theory, it's not popular yet, but it's a study that I took a look at. And they both believe in that the intellect is in our hearts. And I personally believe that because the Quran highlights that. Okay. Now the interconnection between your heart and the system you operate on is that a lot of people, because when you use your intellect to submit to a system, and your intellect is in your heart. So basically, indirectly, I am saying that you are using your heart, which is the source of intellect, to submit to your system. Try and try and try and try to always submit and use your intellect at every step you take in life. Don't view things through emotions. Sometimes emotions can overtake you because emotions is not a source of wisdom. Your heart that holds your intellect is the source of wisdom, the source of reflection and understanding. Now that being said, we must try, all of us, beginning from me and all of the brothers and sisters, we must try to use or deal with the systems that are enforced upon us in a way that our intellect accepts us. Because remember, you cannot play with your intellect. Intellect is something solid, universal. Intellect accepts only what's true, only what's right, only what's authentic, only what's divine, only what's pure. If you practice something that is impure, know that that was not from your intellect. It was from your nafs, desire, emotions. Now, I said that the systems that are enforced upon you, deal with them in a way that your intellect accepts. And the systems that you can create, the conditions one, create conditions that you really want for yourself. Come on. Don't create conditions that take you out of your values. We have values, guys. Come on. We are human. Part of our values does not accept that the youth finish the English lecture over here and go hang out somewhere else. Part of the lecture does not accept and declines the idea that the youth finish the lecture at Abu Dhar and go to, for example, Pizza, or go to Tim Hortons, or go to, I don't know, a park, or to a party, or to a gathering. No. The intellect says that when you finish this lecture, you are here for a commemoration. You are here for an event. Submit to it. There's a system over here. Respect it. If you respect the system at your school and at your home, there's a system over here. Don't violate that system. Anyway, now, the Ahl Bayt Salamullah alayhim have a system. They have a system. And this tragedy of Karbala is built upon this one thing. What is it? That Banu Umayyah, these filthy individuals, they violated a divine system. Now, if you would violate a system at home, for example, your father would put you in trouble, detention maybe yell at you. But when there is a violation to a divine system that is built upon a very solid foundation that the Prophet went to war for, that the Prophet strived for years and years and years. So when Imam Hussein saw a violation in that system, he stood up. That's why he said, إِنَّمَا خَرَجْتُ لِطَلَبِ الْإِصْلَاحِ بِأُمَّةِ جَدِّي مُحَمَّدٍ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمَ. This is the true message. Reformation, which I spoke about the first day. And because the law was violated, Imam Hussein stood up and he was like, me, my son, my families, my wife, my grandchildren, everyone, my family are ready to sacrifice, even my infants. Abdullah al-Radi', Imam stood, he took him with him. He was with the Imam during these harsh situations. On a day like this, Rabab Salamullah alayha didn't have any milk to give Abdullah anymore. Because when you don't give yourself any liquids for days, the mother won't have any milk to feed her child, her infant. On a day like this, Rabab confronted Sayyidah Zainab alayha salam, told her, "Oh Sayyidati, it's been 2 days and my son has had nothing to drink." Imagine an infant, no water, no milk, nothing. Oh, Sayyidati Zainab, take him to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Let him take him to the camp of the enemy in case they give him a couple drops of water. Al-Hussein salamullah alayhi, he embraced his child. He covered him with his shirt in case the sun hits his son. You know, when you're thirsty and it's very hot, the temperature is very elevated, and you are living in a desert. Wow, such conditions. توجه أبو عبد الله الحسين إلى القوم قال لهم إن كان للكبار ذنبا فما ذنب الصغار. He told them, look at the Imam speaks through logic. He told them that your fight is with adults. Leave the infants alone. If you have a problem with me, then cut water away from me, not the infants. Imam Hussein salamullahi alayhi, when the horses of the enemies were thirsty, he gave them water. But when his son was thirsty, an infant, they rejected that request. The enemy's army broke into two. Those who said, give him water, he's an infant. Those who said, don't give him anything. They wanted, their only purpose was for Imam Hussein's heart to burn. Umar spoke to Harmala, told him, oh Harmala, اقطع نزاع القوم. He told him, put an end to this conflict. Wow. Look at the way that he's going to use to put an end to this conflict. Harmala took the arrow out, he aimed it. He aimed it on the neck of Abdullah al-Radhi, and he hit him on the neck. رحم الله من نادى ورضيعا ومظلوما. After months and years, Al-Mukhtar alayhi salam, when he caught Harmala, he told him, how did you have such an audacity? How did you have such a heart to kill a baby? Harmala told him, let me be honest with you. At that day, when I hit Abdullah al-Radhi, Abdullah did something that tore my heart apart. He did something that broke me. He told him, what was that? He told him, you know, a baby is covered with a cloth. He is swaddled with this cloth, so his hands stay tight. He told him, Abdullah was covered, was wrapped in a cloth. When I hit his neck, he took his hand out and he hugged his father Hussein. رحم الله من نادى ورضيعا ومظلوما. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. سيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. إلا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. Brother, today is the last day I'm going to be up here, and this spot meant really a lot for me. So before I end, I wanted to really, from the deepest place in my heart, and with all honor, with all respect, with all gratitude, I want to extend my thanks for my brothers, for my sisters, for my respected elders, for not only providing me with this chance, but for accepting my words. I want to say, forgive me if I said something that could have hurt somebody. I want to say that if you have any questions, feel free to confront me and I will reply inshallah ta'ala with an open heart. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات. رحم الله من قرأ سورة الفاتحة تسبقها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. عظم الله لكم الأجر جميعا وأحسن لكم العزاء إن شاء الله. لكم الحسن أحسن. أحسن الله إليكم. الله يحفظكم إن شاء الله. أحسن الله. أحسن الله إليكم. الله يسلمك. يسلمكم ان شاء الله. احسن الله واسمعكم ان شاء الله.
حد وراك حد مساعد قلت انا يقول مج
جزاكم الله بالخير. جزاكم الله بالخير. جزاكم الله بالخير.
لا والله كانت علينا ظلم. إلا صلح أنا أقول له ما سجل تعال بس ادخل الباب تعال الموضوع بسيط أنت ما تدخل الباب تعال ما
حد يضيع يعني 3 مراحل
يعني كل مرحلة فيه غصبا تفاصيل
لا مرحلة وحيدة لا الأولية في طبيعة بعد واحد من ذا يرتفع بالراي
الله يستر.
سيدنا